Hi guys, welcome to the English staff room. I'm with Susan today, my ex-colleague. We've worked together for the last 4 years.
Yes.
It's been a long time. I invited Susan today to talk about a very important topic for the both of us.
Yeah.
Which is native versus non-native teachers conundrum. We're gonna share our experience, but before, 3 warm-up questions, okay?
Okay.
Susan,
Let's
so
do this.
how long have you been an English teacher? Where have you taught so far?
Okay, so I've been a teacher for about 13 years. I started teaching in Brazil and been teaching in the UK for the last 4.5 years, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And what would you say is your teaching philosophy?
Okay, so I like being inclusive as possible. So I like everyone in my class to feel comfortable and confident and feel like they belong, so they can be in a place where it's like they can feel safe to learn, because like learning something new can always be a little bit scary. So it's important to feel like you're in a comfortable place, in a familiar place. Yeah.
Wonderful. And I ask all the teachers, what is your favorite activity and how do you play it?
Okay, so I'll probably have to say it's one of my favorites is snowball fight. So this is I know, yeah. So it sounds weird because you're in a classroom. It's not real snow, I promise. So basically, you get strips of paper. This is great for getting to know you activities as well, because you can write anything on this piece of paper about you, and then for example, the name, like I have a dog named James, and then you screw it and put it on your desk, and then you get another piece of paper, write something else about yourself. I have a sister, screw it, put it on your desk, and you can do that for about 4 or 5 minutes. Have students write about themselves, and then when the time is up, you can tell them snowball fight. So basically you get those pieces of screwed paper and you just throw at each other and you have a little fun for about a minute, and then you tell them to stop. And then there's paper everywhere. So basically what they have to do is pick one piece of paper, open it, and they were going to see the answer to a question. So they have to ask that question to everyone around them until they find who that answer belongs to.
Okay.
And then write the name of that person on that piece of paper and then keep it. At the end of the game, that's their points.
That's amazing. I've never played this game before, but I know you told me about this game. Well, I'm going to try that when COVID is over, because we are not allowed to have paper in class. Yeah, that sounds cool. You have to guys try it and let us know in the comments below how successful the activity was. Okay, shall we start?
Yes.
To the point, guys. So both Susan and I are non-native English teachers, and at many points in our teaching career, we felt like, how did we feel?
Yes. Different.
Different.
Yeah. I'll say probably there are a lot of people who have gone through the same experience. I started teaching in Brazil because that's where I'm from. And I've had a lot of situations where I've been treated differently because I'm a non-native speaker. So, for example, I'll get paid less than an American or a British teacher, for example.
Brazil?
Yes. Or
in
maybe,
your country?
Yes, in my own country. And I've had situations where I've been turned down for jobs because I couldn't produce an American or a British passport. And yeah, it's not a nice situation. You feel like you are not as good as a native teacher and a native speaker teacher, and that can be a little bit disheartening and discouraging.
Yeah, I had exactly the same feeling. I've been rejected in many places because even they were not looking at my qualification or anything. They said, sorry, this position is open purely for pure natives. And I was like, okay. And there was a situation when somebody contacted me on LinkedIn offering me a job in Dubai. And I said, okay, that sounds interesting. It was a well-paid job, and I kind of considered applying for it, really. But then when I sent my CV or something, they looked at my surname doesn't sound English, and they said, so where do you come from? I said, Poland. So they say, sorry, this position is open only for native teachers. And I felt so disheartened and, like disqualified at the start. Nobody even looked at my experience. Nobody observed my class to see my teaching philosophy, my techniques and stuff. And it's not the only thing. I've had that many times.
Yeah.
I think you can relate to that. So.
Yeah, I applied to many jobs where they asked for a passport before they even asked for my CV. So I couldn't even send my CV or like have an interview because I didn't have the right nationality.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, my another question was, so why are people so obsessed with native speakers?
I think there is a myth that for you to learn a language well, you have to learn it from a native speaker, and that's not true. And it's not as important to have a native teacher as it is to have the opportunity to use the language and to have a good teacher. Yeah. So I think although people want that, they think that this is going to be like the magic pill that's going to help them speak the language. Like if I have a native teacher, I'm going to learn faster, I'm going to learn better, I'm going to speak like them, and that's not necessarily true.
Well, so what do you think the native teachers have to offer? Are there any advantages to having a native teacher?
I think what you need to look at is not where this person is from, but whether they are a good teacher. So one thing that we learn in like when we do our teacher training is that we need to lower our TTT, right? So we need to keep our teacher talking time as low as possible. So it's more important that the student is speaking than the teacher is speaking. And if the teacher is speaking all the time, that means the student is not having that opportunity to use the language. So it's not that important that you having that hearing from like a native speaker so much. You can do that by watching TV. I mean, it's not like you are only going to be exposed to the language through the teacher, because you have they have TV shows, you have the internet, you have if you live in the country, you can have experiences with native speakers or non-native speakers everywhere. So it's I think the advantage is not whether you are born in that country, but whether you can teach the language well.
Yeah. So today I brought a newspaper with me. I've been flipping through its pages a couple of days ago. It's called English Teaching Professional. And I came across a very interesting article, and I would like to read a fragment, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Okay. What we like as native speakers is the personal experience of learning English, and therefore there is a disconnect as we attempt to answer this question. At times, I have noticed non-native speakers being perceiving themselves as lacking something as English teachers. In truth, the teachers who are lacking are often the native speakers who are teaching learners to travel a path that they themselves have never traveled. So I think for me, when I read this article, was that me as a non-native teacher, I had to learn English, and I know how to teach it now because I know the way. Did you ever feel like this as well?
I think this is a very common argument that you hear a lot for people to defend non-native teachers. And I think it's not so much about that. It is more about, because you can have that experience even as a native speaker of English. You can learn a different language and have the experience of learning a second language and be able to empathize with your students and be able to share that experience with them. But the difference, I think, that sometimes makes non-native teachers better than native teachers is that we have to be. We have because there is this impression that we are not going to be as good as a native teacher just because of the place we were born. We feel like we have to prove ourselves, so we go above and beyond all the expectations to be able to just be on the same level. So it's something that it comes a lot from students as well, because they have that idea, like they probably learned from other people as well, that if they have a native teacher, that they're going to learn better, that they're going to learn more, that they're going to be fluent in no time, and we have to deal with that. So we have to manage those expectations. And so I think we often feel that, like, on the first day with a new class, you have to impress. You have to prove to them that you are so good that, like, even though you're not a native speaker, you can take them where they need to go. That you can help them achieve their objectives with their language learning.
I can totally relate to that. I remember the first time I started teaching in the UK, I had exactly the same feeling. I had a feeling I need to impress people. I need to basically, prove myself because I'm not native. I think I felt this way because I've been rejected many times on the basis of not being a native teacher. I once already got a job. That's a good story as well. I got a job.
Yeah.
And when I had to submit my documents, when someone find out that I'm not English, they said, okay, oh, sorry, you're not English, so no, sorry, no. And I just got rejected again. But already I have signed the contract. Can you imagine that?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that
was heartbreaking.
Exactly.
Only because they didn't know that I'm not English.
So
but just by looking back at my passport,
you can't help but feel like inferior in a way. So even though you're not, obviously you're a great teacher. So
and so you are.
Thank you. So anyone who's worked with you knows that that your nationality doesn't impact your teaching at all. So it's all about managing those expectations. And I've had many students as well that they were perfectly happy with my classes. They sent very good feedback, and then they found out that I was an American, and then they realized, oh, she's not a native speaker, and then they asked to change teachers.
Wow,
so you have like after that, I felt like I had to hide my nationality. Like, I don't lie to students, of course, but I avoid questions about my background, and that's not nice, because you feel like you have to hide a important part of yourself. And I think after that as well, you feel like you need to show them first that you are a great teacher before they even know anything about you. So I think that's been a struggle for maybe other non-native teachers as well. Because you have to go and show them, like, look, I am good enough. Please trust me. Trust me that I can teach you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it can be difficult, and I think that's why, like, we have to go into, like, a lot of training. We have this passion for teaching as well. So we look at, like, new materials, new techniques. We try different things, and I think that's what makes a good teacher. Well, like, if you're a native teacher, you gain their trust straight away from the start, and so, like, half your job is done there. Because that's what teaching is about, isn't it? It's like, if your students trust you, then they're going to learn from you. If they don't trust you, they're not going to learn from you at all. So
big time.
Yeah.
So what shall we say to all those non-native teachers who are listening to us at the moment? So do we have any advice for them?
I'll say, trust yourself, even if nobody else does.
Exactly. You are good enough.
Yes, you are good enough. Yes. And there are other people out there that are going to trust you, that are going to believe in you. And don't give up until you found them and you find your tribe, and you and you get confidence out of each other as well. I recommend teaching in a country that, like, for example, in the UK or in Europe in general, not everywhere in Europe, unfortunately, but if it's illegal to discriminate against
non-native teachers.
yeah, like because in the UK it's illegal to discriminate on the basis of nationality, so you won't get rejected for jobs as often. It might still happen. I'm not gonna lie to you, but it helps. And find a place where it's fair, for you to work, and that treats you with the respect and dignity that you deserve. and that has colleagues that are also like helpful and that trust you and that trust in your abilities, so that you can continue to learn and continue to develop and be the good teacher that you are.
Yay!
Yes. Prejudice free. Also, I'll say talk about it. Talk about being a non-native teacher, because this is going on for too long, and we need to
we need to
end this myth seriously, because it's tiring.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Susan, for a very inspiring talk.
Thank you.
I hope we inspired some of the people who are watching us now. And tell us about your experience. You can write in the comments below or follow us on Instagram.
Yes.
Share your path with us, and we will be happy to, share our experience as well and just talk. Yeah.
Yes, because that's what teaching is about. It's sharing our experiences, and that's how we grow as teachers, and it's great. It's always really, really helpful. So thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks, Susan.
Yes.
Woohoo!
Let's do the try and habit.